Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the fourth episode of Comic Couch. It has been a 10-year hiatus since Ramel and I have been here on the couch to record one of these, but we're back. We finally got our rhythm back.
What up?
And we're going to talk about a couple things in nerd culture that we just can't get to on the regular show. So tonight we know that we had the presentation. What I thought was a mediocre presentation from HBO for the HBO Max.
Super mediocre.
We couldn't even see any of the stuff that they were previewing or the trailers or clips stuff that they had. But we did get some. Sorry, we had a shit ton of candy for the Halloween episode, so I'm still suffering. We did get some news on the DC front of what we can expect to see on HBO Max, at least around the time of launch. So we got the announcement for a Green Lantern series on HBO Max.
Was that the only DC thing or no?
There were two other big ones. One of them is I probably C-list in your mind that I don't even want to touch it. You have no idea who Adam Strange is, and we're not going to do it.
Wait, what the fuck? What is it called?
It's focused around this character called Adam Strange, who travels to this world of Ron.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
not.
see, like we're not going to touch you with that. But we also have the DC the superhero high school show comedy that's being executive produced by Elizabeth Banks.
See, now that I can fuck around with.
We'll get to that.
I can get into that.
So these are the two things we're going to focus on because they're the big announcements to come out of the HBO Max launch, and of course, It's nerd culture, and I got to talk about nerd culture.
Of course.
So with the Green Lantern
I have
show,
to be here to shit on it.
Yeah, fucking asshole. So we have the Green Lantern show that's being produced by Greg Berlanti, who I think Greg Berlanti, if you don't know, he's the guy who basically runs all of the CW shows,
Which
the
to me
superhero CW shows.
Which to me are the worst kind of superhero shows there are.
I'm not going to disagree. I'm not mad at them, but quality wise,
they're trash. I mean,
in the last 3 to 5 years, what we've seen the strides television has taken and how we create content.
Right.
It is a little bit like, let's wrap this up. Instead, they're like just making more. So you have the Batwoman series. There's rumors about that a Superman show is going to come out on the CW. There's a Canary show coming out on the CW. So Arrow's going off, but they're making all these more shows on that platform.
Right.
And I'm sure because CW is paying him a fuck ton of money to make these shows, because that's basically what the CW is now, is DC shows.
Which is...
But whatever, I digress. But they
basically went from like teeny bopper kids high school shows to
teeny bopper high school
superhero shows, which is ruining. Like Flash just was ruined. They've ruined Flash with that.
I wouldn't go that far.
Bad.
The seasons of The Flash that I saw, I thought were actually really well done. But again, the content and quality of these shows has changed over the years. So there's a new bar that I kind of need past for me to kind of stick around for it.
Right.
And 22, 23 episodes, we just don't do those kind of shows anymore. We're now to like the 8 to 13 range, and getting stuff released in bulk as opposed to weekly.
Right.
But then you also have DC Universe, which has shows like Titans, which is airing right now, I actually think the second season's phenomenal. I think it's doing way better than the first season. They got their stride. The quality's a bar up from CW. But of course, it's not Disney Plus or HBO Max quality.
Because DC doesn't have the kind of bucks that those two other companies have.
No,
obviously, so they're not going.
But HBO Max, Warner has the bucks, and we know now from Twitter that the Green Lantern's budget is going to be about $100 million.
Is DC owned by WB?
Yes, Warner Brothers owns DC. Yes, DC Media. That's why
literally anything.
That's why when we were little kids, we would go to the Warner store. There would be all the superhero stuff.
Oh yeah, you're right. Right.
So Warner owns like the production of that stuff. Or even when the Batman the animated series would start, it would be the WB logo that would turn.
Oh yes,
that would turn into the lights of the blimp.
Yes. Okay, now I remember. You're right. So yeah, they do own that. Okay.
So Warner owns DC Media.
Okay.
So of course, because Warner is HBO Max, that's where all this. So you're going to have on HBO Max every DC movie that was ever made.
Which is
Joker has already been announced that it will be on the platform.
Yes.
Probably all their animated stuff will be on there too, which makes me feel like DC Universe now is so fucking redundant.
Yeah, no, it is.
Why does DC or why even launch DC Universe if you're going to have HBO Max?
I mean,
did they launch it before the idea of HBO Max came out?
I think that is exactly what happened because,
we will talk about Green Lantern, I promise. But this is just so critical.
Talked about it on the main podcast before, but I really don't think that when DC Universe came out, like when the prep like idea for it was coming up, probably for them, I don't think that there was even a mention that Disney Plus was coming.
You're right.
So
there wasn't.
It's one of those things where it's like Disney Plus then comes out, and then HBO/WB, AT&T, and Time Warner, they have to go, holy shit, we have to do something big here.
It's funny that you mentioned that because Swamp Thing, after only one episode of airing, got canceled, and that was around exactly the same time that Disney Plus was announced.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think
and
that
HBO
they were
Max. I think.
I don't think that they were expecting Disney Plus to come out. If anything,
Candy gives me heartburn.
If anything, I don't think they were expecting it for it to come out that soon or when it did.
Right.
So they were almost not prepared for it. So at that point, it's like, holy shit!
I think they jumped the gun.
The press. Hold the press. Let's pause everything we're fucking doing on DC Universe.
Well, the other problem with DC Universe is because the rumors keep growing is that one of their original shows that was announced pretty much at launch which is Stargirl is now saying that it's not going to be a DC Universe original, but they're going to throw it over to CW. That's bad news bears for DC Universe.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Because you already don't have...
DC Universe is as good as dead.
I think it's as good as dead. Yeah. Because you already don't have enough original content.
Correct.
Why are you throwing one of your original shows over to CW unless you're a sinking ship?
Yeah. And the ability to read the comics on your screen is not going to be enough to hold it over.
It isn't, no.
And your little...
Which I enjoy very much,
your little weekly
DC
Daily shit is not going to hold it over.
But don't say shit. I actually love all those people that love that show.
It's not gonna hold it over. Like, it's just not gonna last.
I don't know ultimately what the fate
It would be nice to me if they take all those little things from DC Universe and just give it its own little... Like, well, we saw the preview, Gab. They were previewing the app.
Preview, the home screen, and you see that DC's a button.
DC has its own button.
I would like, because here's the thing. I think DC Daily is a lot of fun. I love all those personalities that are on there. I would love it if their show got to continue to exist over on HBO Max. I think Doom Patrol...
I don't think that they would hurt... I don't think that it would hurt them.
It wouldn't hurt.
To keep that show going.
At all.
Doing these things. Yeah.
It still highlights, and it's a daily show highlighting DC content and culture.
Plus, you're giving... the nerdish, the nerd types like you, that like very specific like
avenue
for you. This is for your group of people.
But I'm curious. Yeah, I don't see how they specifically highlighted Doom Patrol in their presentation. We know that Doom Patrol,
but that's because we know that Doom Patrol is relatively successful in terms of DC Universe.
Well, it was greenlit for a second season, and it's the only show.
They're the ones that have the numbers on these shows. So they're the ones that understand the metrics of what people have been watching on DC Universe. So they must know.
Which is weird to me because Doom Patrol, personally, I enjoyed it. It wasn't a show that I followed weekly. I thought it was... I'm sorry, I always forget the actor's name. The guy that was George of the Jungle.
Fraser.
Brendan Fraser. Yeah. For me, he carries that show.
Yeah.
He's so fucking funny.
I am someone who didn't... Like, there's a few things from DC Universe that I remember... because I haven't watched it since all this new stuff was announced. But Swamp Thing episode 1 was fucking awesome to me.
Same. That was really good.
And I didn't continue watching it. I stopped watching it after 1 because I didn't want to get involved in it and then know that it wasn't coming back.
Yeah, after you canceled it, why are we going to finish the season?
So I watched episode 1. I was like, I would watch the rest of this fucking show. So that was sad. And 2, the Brendan Fraser show... what's it called? Doom Patrol?
Doom Patrol.
I loved Doom Patrol. I watched the first 5 episodes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But the problem is that towards the end of it, again, I started to feel this I really wish that the quality was better in terms of what they were their production value.
Well,
because the acting was good.
But that now becomes a question. If you're under the umbrella of HBO Max, are you getting more money for your second season?
Which is what I should think that they should do. Again, if they have the metrics, if they understand the statistics of what people were watching on DC Universe, and they announced on their main press run with the investors that DC Doom Patrol, it was like a show that they're highlighting for DC.
Yeah.
Then they have to be throwing more bucks at it.
I mean, I
have to
hope so.
assume so. I have to assume so.
I wonder if we know what the budget for season 2 is off the top. No, I don't know. But they are getting a second season that will be on HBO Max.
And if I'm just going to assuming, and you can change topics here, but I'm just going to assume that because they are highlighting Doom Patrol, that they see the value in it. Because yes, it is actually a really good show, and Brendan Fraser does kill it on that show. So do the rest of them. Because even got a person like me who doesn't like, especially these random side superheroes, I hate these kind of stories. I was involved in it and I liked it. And if the quality was better, if it was HBO-ish quality, I would have watched the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I'd still be watching and I'd still be involved in it.
And they can make their cyborg look better because,
yes.
I mean, he looked fine for CW quality. Here's the thing. Because I'm such a comic book fan, I'm the guy that's in the audience clapping for the kid on stage who forgets his lines.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm rooting I'm always rooting for the underdog, and for those kind of projects where you are trying to lift up such secondary, tertiary characters or plots, go for it, because who else would greenlight a Doom Patrol show other than a platform that was specifically DC?
Right.
So congratulations. I hope the second season does well. Titans right now for their second season, personally, I think is killing it. It's fucking phenomenal. I love it. I feel like they finally got their groove, and the characters that sucked in season 1, I won't say names, they really pushed to the side and aren't doing anything this season.
Yeah, because that's another one that I tried to watch. I watched the first 2 or 3
Season 1 was rough.
And I couldn't get through it.
Season 1 was very rough. But what I saw, and I wrote about it for our site on our blog, was that the first season felt like it was introducing all these characters, giving us no real plot, but just introducing everyone. Sure. It's kind of weak to do a whole season doing that, right. But I knew that if it could survive season 1 and get a second season, that because you spent all that annoying ass time building a foundation, you could hit the ground running with the season 2 with the characters. And they did. They went fucking sprinting with what they have, and they went deep. The Latino who plays Deathstroke, fucking killing. He is the season. He's so fucking good in that role, and you know how much DC, to quote Mean Girls, has been trying to make Deathstroke happen.
Right.
Because they had, for a minute, the Maglian, whatever his name is, at the end of Justice League.
Oh, yeah.
He was in Arrow, and that guy did an okay job. He's been in the animated stuff, but to me...
I forget about that scene in Justice League.
They teased something that was never going to exist.
That was never going to exist.
I think he
looked so cool.
I think he was probably going to be in the Ben Affleck Batman movie.
Oh, right.
I think because Ben Affleck, I think, tweeted something back in the day about an on-set thing about that. But this guy doing Deathstroke in this show, he's just doing so good. Okay. The cast is phenomenal. It's funny. The characters that I couldn't stand from this fucking candy. The characters from season 1 that I thought were super weak, took a back fucking seat, and it's fine. They pop up here and there to say something, but it's mainly focusing on the strengths.
Yeah.
Like Wonder Girl, Donna Troy is phenomenal. Her lasso does the same thing as Gal Gadot's from the movie.
Wonder Girl, dude.
Superboy just showed up a couple weeks ago, and what do you mean? Oh, it's Superboy.
Superboy, Wonder Girl, just come on, man. I these little corny sidekick, fake versions of the real ones.
Fake versions of the real ones.
Come on, man.
You're such a fucking bitch. You really are such a bitch. But he says I'm a DC head over Marvel fans, over Marvel heads, but he takes a shit on a lot of DC lore. The backstory to Connor Kent is one of the most interesting things from DC Comics.
Right. Yeah.
He's half Lex Luthor, half Superman. And like
He's
that,
half Lex?
see, this bitch on air is shitting on a DC property and doesn't even know what the fuck he's talking about.
That he's half Lex. How the
Yes,
fuck did
he's
he
a
become half
science
Lex?
experiment. He was created in a lab as a clone, and so he was made with half the DNA of Lex Luthor and half of Superman.
Oh shit.
So this kid, he
might have to
has
check that
like
out soon.
genetic memories of Lex and Superman. So in the episode when he's
that's
introduced, he's like remembering shit or acting on shit that's like
In the show?
In the show, but that feeds off both memories.
Right.
And then you have Robin, who's kind of 1 week he's fine, 1 week he annoys the shit out of me. He'll be Nightwing soon, so I hope then he cleans it up.
Is he like an annoying little kid?
No, it's Dick Grayson, so he's the older one.
Oh, okay.
So he's old. He's gonna be Nightwing in like a minute, but he's doing. He can get really fucking annoying. It's so good. So if you're not watching Titans, I hope it gets picked up for season 3.
Right now, it's on season 2 on the DC Universe.
On the DC Universe, yeah, almost done with the season. Probably like 4 episodes left.
And it has not gotten picked up for.
There's no announcement about season 3 yet.
Oh, another question I had for you.
Sure.
Now that since we're kind of on the topic of it, what's going on with if DC Universe is or is not staying around, and Max is coming in, HBO Max is coming in May. What's happening with Justice League kids?
Justice League kids.
Justice League kids.
Young Justice.
Young Justice.
I would go on a limb and go on record that there's no fucking way anything's going to happen to Young Justice. They are already picked up for season 4. They're in production for it.
So they are picked up for season 4.
They're officially
so they're
picked up for
season
they're
4.
definitely making a season 4.
Because I know you told me a billion times that show was very popular amongst.
It was
your
like it's
crowd.
about like the devout fans of like
Correct.
DC, even and also like
That reminds me, I have to finish that season.
season 1 and 2. You could say like they're mature for kids, but season 3 like that's not for kids.
Yeah.
There's blood, there's
watch
sex,
the first like 4 or 5
there's-
episodes of that too.
It's a very good season 3. Season 4 is greenlit, so that we're definitely getting that no matter
So
what.
we don't know where we're going to get it though. We don't know if it's going to be on HBO Max or
I don't know.
HBO.
Is DC Universe going to keep going? Is it going to
Yeah,
be?
that's
That's what we
the
don't
biggest
know.
question. Yeah.
And if it survives, to what capacity will it survive? What I do know for sure is that there could be a stable relationship here because they say Grace Randolph, fucking love her. She reviews stuff on YouTube, and she's the one who breaks a lot of this news. She knew about the Green Lantern thing hours before it was announced. She mentioned how the numbers for viewership for Young Justice season 3, like they weren't that high because again, it's exclusively on DC Universe, and no one fucking buys the DC Universe.
Yeah.
But if you're going to launch HBO Max and it's going to have all of these titles over there, you're opening up an avenue for people to get reinvested into Young Justice.
Right.
You're going to have those first 2 seasons. The people who didn't see season 3, you have access to season 3 now, and you can binge the whole thing.
Right.
So you get that Netflix culture effect. You can watch the whole show. For Titans, please give this show a fucking shot. If season 1 was weak, that's okay, because now you can binge all of season 1, which is doable, because there's a difference between a show that you have to tune in week to week as opposed to you could binge it at your own pace.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I could probably binge it if I really wanted to.
Which, for me, that was the allure what made Sabrina on Netflix work.
Oh, right.
I didn't have to do that week to week. I could binge
Yeah.
it at my own pace, and that's what made it doable for
Correct.
me. And same thing with Umbrella Academy.
Well, yeah. I compare Umbrella Academy in my lack of like knowledge here. I compare Umbrella Academy to these like DC shows because they're just like, first to me, they're all random heroes that I don't know, but
You're getting it in bulk,
I'm getting it in bulk,
and you can do it how you want
and
to
I
do
can
it.
do it quickly if
Exactly.
I want to. Yeah.
So for Titans, you could watch by that time season 1 and season 2 all the way through if you want. That'll be 24 episodes. So it'll be like a 24 episode thing.
Mm-hmm.
Season 2 is way stronger than 1. And maybe that'll get more buzz for the show.
Right,
and
right.
for a season 3, hopefully they get picked up for season 3. And then they can do that. But
Interesting.
now we're almost 20 minutes in. What we really want to talk about was the Green Lantern show. It's been picked up. That's not DC Universe. That's going to HBO Max.
HBO Max, right.
Which, side note, makes me really, again, feel like DC Universe is the bastard child that no one really wants to hang out with. Because
I think that it's dead officially. I think that's going to be dead once HBO Max starts.
I find it
They're
weird.
going to phase it out. They're going to slowly phase it out.
Because it's like you already have a DC universe. You think you're telling me that this show wouldn't be a big benefit to DC Universe? That you're launching it as an HBO Max exclusive,
Right.
So I'm like, kind of like, then just get rid of DC Universe then, and give all of those shows, the ones that survive the merger,
Give them
the budget.
The budget. Yeah.
Give them that HBO cash.
Because they'll bring in fans.
HBO will clean it up and bring in fans. And Titans on HBO cash.
I would absolutely tune in to Doom Patrol, Titans if it's as good as you say it is, and definitely Green Lantern on $100 million budget.
And you told me that $100 million is the Mandalorian budget.
It's just about Mandalorian.
So this is what I want to get at on today's episode, is that we know that the streaming wars is real. These people are competing with each other.
They are they're going to be at each other's throats, and this is they're going to be a week-to-week basis.
So DC competing, yes, we know that DC competes with Marvel. But when it comes specifically to Green Lantern, and I think a big motivator for making this series, is that Green Lantern is going to compete with Star Wars properties. And I'll say why.
Right.
In the early 2010s, maybe I think it was 2010 or 11, and the animated Green Lantern show launched. It only went one season. But watching that show, I was like, this feels Star Wars-esque. Why? Because the Green Lantern Corps is like an intergalactic police.
Right.
So they're basically space police, and they go to different planets. They have wars they have fights in space. They have, Green Lantern Corps shoots green light, and then the Red Lantern Corps shoots red, green, red. That has like a Jedi color scheme thing to it. There's different shades. There's different colored lanterns. There's all this lore and history, and you can make different planetary cultures and costumes.
Right.
And visually, what you can do with those spaceships going through, like what you can design. So aesthetically, a Green Lantern show is going to be very appealing, not just on the superhero level, but anyone who's into that sci-fi shit.
Right.
And $100 million.
So now my question with that, I mean, I know nothing about Green Lantern. So I know nothing about the history. All I know is that I do know that it's like a group of lantern guys, and they're aliens, and they fight with other lantern colors.
Somewhat.
But
that was a very
very
I would love people to get in front of a comic book store and explain Green Lantern as you just did.
But here's my question. It's not really a question. This is what I think. I don't know that it's competing with Star Wars.
I think it competes, whether it's the intention or not. I think you have to put that in correlation and parallel to a Star Wars series, because they're touching the same exact fucking subject matter. They are the same. Because here's the thing. This is where I have to counter argument with you and our little brother. Where it's like, it's for Joker. It's like, it's not a superhero movie. It's based off of the character and it's its own like genre thing. I would apply the exact same fucking argument if they're making a Green Lantern show. Yes, it's a superhero, but before that, it's a space cowboy odyssey. That's what it is.
Yeah. I mean, so I understand for sure your reasoning for thinking that it's competing with Star Wars. But the thing to me that I'm questioning here is Disney is coming out with two massive things, not just Star Wars. They're also doing Marvel and Marvel television shows.
Well, but then that just makes, in my opinion, in some ways, Green Lantern just a double threat. It's a space show. It's a space cowboy show that gets to have aesthetically the appeal of Star Wars while also being a superhero franchise that supports DC.
Do you think that it's going to hold it? Do you think that just the Green Lantern show alone is really going to go pound for pound with Star Wars shows and Marvel shows at the exact same time?
Here's the thing where my bias is going to come in as opposed to my objective opinion. I'm a Green Lantern head. I think some of the most iconic DC comic stories in history are from the Green Lantern property.
Right.
Blackest Night, there's a lot of rich storytelling in the Green Lantern stuff that and the characters, it's its own world. You have so many Green Lantern characters.
The main Green Lantern on Earth is he the black one or the white one?
That's what I'm thinking. I think if you're doing a Green Lantern show, they're all going to show up. You're
all
going to
gonna be
have
there.
Hal Jordan. You're going to have Kyle Rayner. You're going to have Jon Stewart. You're going to have...
Which one was Ryan Reynolds?
He was Hal Jordan. Sad. I think you're going to get Guy Gardner, Jessica Cruz. You're going to get all of these minority Green Lanterns that they made.
Right.
I think you're just going to see many of them. And that I just think if the creativity...
Do you think that this Green Lantern show will possibly be an entrance into a reopening of the DC universe?
Well,
because remember we've now seen that they're going to continue doing Wonder Woman.
Correct. They have a sequel coming out.
I
Aquaman
don't think
2.
Aquaman is going away.
There is
Aquaman.
There will be an Aquaman 2 that's already announced. Black Adam is made.
Shazam 2 or whatever the fuck they're doing with Shazam.
I think Shazam 2 is going to happen.
Those movies were successful.
And they will continue, correct.
Now you've got this little tidbit here where Joker made a fucking $1 billion
after a $50 million budget.
With a $50 million budget. $50 million budget.
Sorry, Joaquin, you're not going anywhere.
So, and then you've got this, and then you've got all of this buzz from Joker, and then also knowing that all
Matt
of this
Reeves
casting,
is the Batman.
This casting news about the Batman movie with like the Riddler being announced, and Catwoman. So I mean, it looks to me like
great choice with Zoe Kravitz. By the way,
DC right now is on a little bit of an incline right now.
A little bit. They're skyrocketing.
Like,
they're a plane taking off.
Now, they're doing like after the bombing of just JBL,
all that shit.
It looks like they've kind of like righted the ship. And if this Green Lantern series is successful,
that completes the 7.
I think that completes the 7.
Oh, well, no.
I mean, granted, we would have to then start over with Superman because we're not getting the same old Superman before.
And personally, just because I know that because of this buzz coming from the CW that they're going to make a Superman show, it makes me feel more like they're shelving Superman in film.
Oh, and
because when the first Doom Patrol is going to be made,
right.
When the first Suicide Squad was going to get made,
right.
The Suicide Squad, like the dollar store Suicide Squad version was in was in Arrow. And then as soon as the studio said they're making a Suicide Squad movie, they're like, "You're all out. You're all fired. We're not. You're all."
Oh yeah, and then again, you've got the Suicide Squad movie that's coming out. That is probably going to be much better, I think, than the first one. So you've got all those people in there, and then where do you leave fucking Flash? Where I think Ezra Miller is still trying to get this thing rolling. So they haven't officially killed off Flash yet either.
I think they're in a weird. These shows usually are 30 minutes, but this is definitely gonna go over because it's too good. The thing with this is that it's two front. There was very poor planning when they were creating the DCEU.
Yeah, of course.
And then there were very obvious failures.
I think what they were trying to do before was too quickly catch up to Marvel.
Yeah, and then they found out in middle of production with Wonder Woman and Aquaman that these ideas actually work better, and they were both super successes. Right. So we can't fire you two.
Right.
So even though they wanted to hit reboot, restart everything, right. Wonder Woman was already finishing production and Aquaman was about to start. We can't cancel this.
And Shazam was already on the block.
Was on the block, and because he wasn't tied to Justice League, they could get away with that being its own thing.
Right.
So now there's this weird kind of, I don't know, superhero musical chair. It was like, what the fuck do we do? Because now we have Robert Pattinson as Batman in the 90s. Yeah. He's not going to be part of a JL here. And then you have, there's no Superman because Henry Cavill's basically shelved.
I think you can still get, oh no, you can't.
Can't what?
You can't do a JL with Pattinson and this current Wonder Woman and Momoa as Aquaman.
No, they don't look too good together. Pattinson. Well, all right. I will also wait
because if
I will wait to see how he bulks up.
Right.
Let's see if he gets on the weight because
if he does look bigger and jacked and like a good strong Batman,
maybe he could stand there. Maybe he could stand there. My thing is, people are like shitting on Pattinson as Batman because of the Twilight movies. Right. That's not why I was shitting on him. I was only like skeptical of him back in the day when he was Cedric Diggory.
Yeah.
And in an interview, he said that they hired him a personal trainer to prepare for Cedric Diggory.
Yeah.
And he only went once and then didn't do it again. So I'm like, let's just make sure that laziness isn't here when you're going to be Batman.
Well, I mean, I would hope that
He's taking it
older
very,
now.
yeah, taking it more seriously.
This could be a role that could completely change. Like, he's already famous, I know.
Yeah.
But this is something that could literally put him over the top.
Because unlike other people, I actually
Batman.
think he's a good choice for Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, yeah.
I think he could really embody that character.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
We'll
know
see.
Bruce Wayne enough. I don't know the Batman enough. To me, like whoever gets put in there, I'm gonna give them a chance regardless. For me, it was always based off of the actor. If I see it's a shitty actor or whatever,
Right.
And when Ben Affleck took the role, I was like, oh, Ben Affleck. But then like when I saw him in it,
Yeah.
I'm like, holy shit, this motherfucker got stacked for this and really committed to this.
I was the only person that was completely gun-ho behind Ben Affleck because visually
you're used to like
he looked so much like the 1992 animated Batman to me.
Right.
That his face looked like that Bruce Wayne.
Right.
So I was like, that's fucking Bruce Wayne.
So
But now we know that with the Ezra Miller Flash thing, no matter what happens, he is the reset button, Flashpoint.
Right.
They can, with using Flash, take whatever worked and then hit reset, erase what didn't, and keep what did.
But see, really, like at this point now, what didn't work is kind of already erased in terms of like.
But you have these weird universes now that are separate.
Yeah,
you have
that's
Harley Quinn doing Birds of Prey, but there's no Joker there because no one wants Jared Leto.
Right.
And then you have this Joker that was a phenomenon, but he's fucking stuck in the late 70s.
Yeah, but that Gotham is awesome.
That Gotham is wonderful.
It's a perfect Gotham for this coming Batman.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do you tie these up and do it in a cohesive way that'll give you a good end product?
I don't think the Green Lantern show, I think, will be pitched as independent.
Right.
But should it succeed,
I think that if
they'll
it
be
succeeds-
like, so that's part of the DCU.
That's what I'm saying.
Because they get away with it being in space, that you don't have to tie it to anything because it's its own fucking thing.
And then also look at what Marvel's doing. I mean, granted, I know at this point now DC shouldn't look at anything that Marvel is doing, and they should just keep doing their own thing.
Right.
Because I think looking at Marvel is what has been their downfall.
But now they will have the same advantage that Marvel has with Disney Plus, is that they can launch web exclusive things,
correct,
and not have to rely on cinema so much.
But then they can, and what Marvel's doing also is they're doing their Marvel universe, but they're including shows in.
But that's
universe.
that's exactly what I'm saying, is that they now have the same advantage that Marvel does with Disney Plus. This is also the death of movie theaters. People don't think it is, but this is the death of movie theaters. Like,
it's not going to be
not immediate. Not immediate.
In like 20
50,
years,
10. I'd say more like 10. I think it's going to creep up faster than we think, just because again the quality of that Mandalorian trailer and the quality of the shit that's going,
incredible quality,
and how people all of a sudden,
if you're dropping $100 million on a 10 episode show.
And the quality of most shows now, content-wise and visually, is way better than most movies. And when you're getting the pitch of an idea as a show as opposed to a film, and people like it more.
Apple, do you know how much money Apple dropped on the Jennifer Aniston show that they just released?
No.
$300 million.
Shit.
For 8 to 10 episodes.
Yeah, so like, and big movie people are doing these shows.
Yeah.
So like, what? We have to call a thing what it is. Like, this is the death of cinema.
Yeah.
I think
what leads me to believe that I really hope that Doom Patrol gets the money that it deserves.
But let me be clear. When I say death of cinema, I don't mean the death of movies. I mean the death of going to a theater.
Sure. Yeah.
Because
I think it'll be a more niche thing.
It will be more
like
niche.
The movie theaters will be smaller. They'll be more boutique. But again, we've talked about this in the main podcast. But that's really what it's going to end up ultimately.
Eventually,
being. Yes.
yeah. I mean, there's nothing like going to the movies. That's a great feeling and sensation.
Which is why I think that's not official. That's not going to ever go away.
No.
But
when it's $20
smaller,
a fucking ticket, and then you add tax, and then if you want a snack,
which is but then AMC is keeping it alive
with
using
their
pass.
You have to adapt in order to survive. So I'm actually, the more I think about the Green Lantern show,
I'm rooting for it.
I'm so excited.
I'm not a big on Green Lantern. I never really was. But I'm rooting for it because I'm rooting for anything DC.
Yeah.
And I want this to succeed because I actually do think that this could be a possible, just like continuation and opening towards another shot at the DC EU.
I think they're almost back. To me, I think they came in bottom of the ninth, and now they're really like coming back full force.
They got a couple singles to get guys on base. Like they've got ducks
I don't even
on the
like
pond.
sports, but I go talk. I know this
ducks on
reference.
the pond.
Yeah.
We need a big hit to just kind of knock these guys home.
Unfortunately, Green Lantern won't be till 2020.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I'm assuming 2020 because HBO Max launches May 2020.
Yes.
But at what point is it going to... I don't think it'll be out of the gates.
Right off the gates.
I do have a worry, no offense, that it's a Greg Berlanti produced show.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want a CW script.
Jesus Christ, how many shows this guy
Dude,
doing?
Ramel, they said on the thing like over 25. I could count right now, but we're on air. I don't want to bore the listeners, but it's a fuck ton of shows.
That's a lot of shows for one guy.
But I think
how can you really give the show?
Because I don't think it. I think it's more he puts I think he just puts his name on it.
Yeah.
It just to put his name on it.
Somebody writes it.
Somebody else
all right,
is
that's
doing.
good. I like that.
He hires other people that he likes, but I think he just puts his name on it and maybe reviews something.
Right.
But I don't think he's full hands on deck with every single one of these shows. No one has that much fucking time.
No. You're right.
But yeah, I'm a little. Let me see that HBO, but a Green Lantern HBO quality, Ramel.
Yeah.
This is that could be revolutionary.
Be a game changer. Yeah.
And again, because I'm a minority nut, to see all of those Green Lanterns in one show is going, and the constructs. Remember, they make anything they imagine with those rings, and they can fly through fucking space.
Yeah.
And you're gonna see.
I'm thinking about
Sinestro, fucking Sinestro.
Yeah.
The Red Lantern Corps. You're going to have all
a lot
these.
of CGI though.
Which is a balance, but so is Star Wars. There's a difference between bad CGI and good CGI.
You're very true.
I'm not talking Spy Kids CGI.
No, you're right. Because Mandalorian is probably going to use a lot of that in between, and
practical
Star Wars
effects
does use really good shit.
And the thing is,
Star Wars is all aliens.
Star Wars is all aliens, but they never let go of using practical effects.
Yeah.
Well, in the trilogy, in the prequels, it kind of did, but
then again,
they use puppets. They still use those puppets, and guess what? That's not bad production value.
But that's also that's Lucasfilm we're talking about. They're used to that. They've been doing that.
HBO, get fucking started, bitch.
Disney,
like
I don't know about HBO.
100 million, and you're gonna flop this like that. You deserve to like burn. Like you have $100 million to create something really special. You know, fans have wanted Green Lantern back,
especially with how bad the first Green Lantern was. That Ryan Reynolds one is just atrocious.
And that one had such a very big, powerful lesson that green screen and too much CGI takes you out of it. Won't work. It takes you out of it. So you have to mix it with practical effects. I'm gonna trust. I've wanted Jon Stewart, and so that means there is not gonna be a Green Lantern movie.
And I think I have to trust.
You also forget that
HBO.
You also have to trust they're making original films for HBO Max too. This could be the revival of ideas like Justice League Dark with Zatanna and Constantine and Etrigan and all those characters. This could be the revival.
I actually read on Reddit a leak that that Justice League Dark was possibly getting brought back up.
Yeah, I would bring that back up for sure because that's such a to me it's a very special group.
Plus, especially since Joker was so successful with its rated R darkness, I think that HBO is gonna like that and continue to do that. Maybe not in its main things, but in its like these like side-ish kind of things.
Yeah. Think about it, because Justice League Dark. You said you liked Swamp Thing. Swamp Thing's a member of the. He's a member of the Justice League Dark. You got Zatanna.
Oh wow.
Constantine. Constantine was a movie that what is his name?
Is Justice League Dark kind of like what Suicide Squad could have been?
No, Justice League Dark is the superhero team that deals with threats that are supernatural. So magic, demonic.
Sick.
So Clarion, the witch boy, the little kid with the cat, he's a villain. He would be a villain for the Justice League Dark. I think Dr. Fate you could bring into Justice League Dark too.
Wow.
Deadman. There is such a specific little group, and they're so Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah.
He was supposed to direct it.
He was. Yeah.
So but I wouldn't personally. I don't want anyone else to touch that other than him because if he did it, you won't see me for like a week because I'm going to be recovering from like the excitement.
Right.
Him touching Justice League Dark
would be so sick.
His design of Swamp Thing, or visually the textures and the colors of what that would look like, would
be so sick.
Would be etrigan. I would love for him to touch that too.
Yeah.
Fucking phenomenal. And HBO Max is kind of reviving the hope that these kind of things. These things can exist again.
Right.
So I'm very excited for that. We're almost at 40 minutes. Just want to touch very lightly on a lighter note, the Superhero High show.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be executive produced by Elizabeth Banks.
Not happy about that, but
We'll deal with that when it comes. I don't get it, but just very quickly,
if she's doing Charlie's Angels.
Let me see Charlie's Angels first and see how I feel about that, which I don't think I'm going to be happy about.
Yeah.
And then
if she does well with Charlie's Angels, then I'll be okay with this.
I'm not even, my bar for Charlie's Angels isn't even in the sky. It's literally at my waist.
Yeah.
Like the first two are good because they were bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like if you can give me good, bad.
Right.
Or good. Yeah. If you can give me good, bad.
Right.
You're fine. It's great.
And Elizabeth Banks is a funny girl. Like
she's hilarious.
Zach and Miri make a porno. Like she's a really
she's
funny
fucking hysterical.
Actress.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
We'll see how she does.
But this, I am pumped for this
because you could do a lot of stuff.
As an idea,
yeah, you could do a lot of stuff. A 30-minute comedy.
Do a lot of with. So it's the Justice League. It's like
it's DC superheroes. They're in high school, but they don't know. Like they're just like trying to get through teen problems.
Interesting.
So live action. I'm thinking a little bit of Clone High element here.
I'm thinking Clone and it's not going to be cartoons.
It's live action. So it's going to be Superman.
I'm thinking a little bit of what's the movie where it's like Poseidon's kid and Zeus's kid?
Movie.
Like that movie where it's like a Poseidon's kid.
You mean Percy Jackson?
Yeah.
Yo, that movie was trash.
Wait, but hold on. But like, listen to me here. The idea that
I know what you're talking
these
about.
These are like high school kids with these like powers.
Or Bruce Wayne.
Yeah. Or Bruce Wayne. Yeah.
No powers.
But like, I think it could be I think it really could be interesting. It'd be hilarious if it was a little bit Degrassi-esque.
But it's going to be a comedy, so
I know
won't.
it's not. But even still, like I'm all for it.
Yeah, I'm saying it could be a lot of fun. Even if they put the villains in there, some villains in the high school, like Lex Luthor is the piece of shit class president. Like that would be funny. Superman's the football jock in a Letterman's jacket with an S on it.
Right.
Batman's the prick rich kid whose parents died, and he just is always in a mood.
Joker is like the
nerd kid that gets picked on a lot.
Nerd gothy kid that gets picked on a lot.
And Harley Quinn's obsessed with him in an abusive high school relationship.
Yes.
You could have.
You could do it so many really
There's so many ways. You can have Poison Ivy in there being a really annoying environmentalist student who like wants to save the planet.
Who could be hot, but because she wears like glasses because she's like a nerd. But then,
her hair's a mess all the time.
But she could be pretty hot if she like wears like actually look good.
Her friendship with Harley is probably going to be a thing you could do with that.
Right.
Flash is on the track team.
Yeah.
I don't know what you would do with the Green Lantern,
Flash is
but
like a class clown. There's always that class clown.
Yeah, for sure.
You have Flash be that class clown. You know,
Wonder Woman is probably like the most popular girl in school.
Right.
So she's like the successful, probably
prom king and queen, Superman and
Wonder Woman or something like that.
Shit like that.
Aquaman is probably the water polo team or some bullshit. Just like that sun-kissed jock who's who's dating
They
Mira.
really honestly could go a lot of really cool ways with this, just to make it like really funny and use what they're like to the full extent.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's actually a really exciting show. So for that, we're going to wrap up this week, our episode of Comic Couch. Sorry that it took us 5 months to make episode 4. Hopefully
we'll be back sooner rather than later.
Yeah. So until next time, guys, thanks.
Peace.